So I finished tearing my paper and dropping it into my water and glue mixture. And as you see here, it's like this really like mushy kind of consistency, and it soaked up all the water. So I don't want to have a lot of extra water sitting on top of that. If you felt like you had too much water, you could actually hold your finger and like hold it over the sink, pour some of that water out. So what I'm going to do now is, I didn't say to do this before, but you want to grab something like some non-stick aluminum foil or a piece of wax paper that you're actually going to work on top of. That'll keep your paper clay from actually sticking to the surface that you're working on. So you might have to hit pause for a second and go grab that. So now that this has been made into pulp, I can actually use it and shape it as paper clay. So I have my template that I set off to the side. So I have that, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on the actual wax paper or whatever I'm using. And I'm going to shape everything on top of that. So that's going to sort of help guide me as a pattern as to what I want this to look like. So I'm going to be taking some of the paper clay or the pulp out of here, and I'm going to shape it together on the actual template. So the template, you will not get that back. So if you're going to make another one of these later, a bigger one, you've got to make a new template for it. So I'm putting it on there, and I'm sort of pressing everything together. You'll see some extra water running off of it. Just let that run off. That'll dry up later. And I'm using it so I know that I'm getting the shape I want, because I'm actually pressing it together on top of the template here. So I need to cover this part. And when I was looking at images of the mummies in the mummy cases, I noticed there was always more mass here, because their arms would be crossed over their chest. So their shoulders, their arms, all of that would take up more space, would have more mass to it. Their legs always sort of tapered as you went down. It seemed like there was more mass at this end and less mass at this end. So this looks kind of like a sloppy mess. All right, what we're going to have to do is shape it. I have one that I worked on earlier. It's not dry all the way, but I did a good enough job. If I put it next to it here, it's going to stay together, and you guys can see the effect that we're going for. So we want to be able to see his head or her head and feet and everything. So I'm going to keep shaping it, pressing everything together. So I want it to cover up that paper template. That paper template will stick to the back of it. It'll help everything sort of hold together. So what you want to do is also have some extra paper near you somewhere. So some paper towels that you did not put into the pulp mixture, or some toilet paper. And you can take that when you see pieces that are not holding together well, you can actually use this almost like tape and put it over that. And you can see all those gaps kind of closed up as I did that. So I'm going to do the same thing along here. So tidy up this side. The nice thing is the pulp that you made has enough water in it. It's going to hold everything together. You don't need to dip this in water or anything. Just use a dry piece of the paper towel or toilet paper. Stick it on there and sort of wrap it around it. So in a way, you're mummifying or wrapping up your pulp together. So I want you guys to work on shaping this part, mostly on the body and the legs here. We'll worry about the head and the feet later. So work on that for a little bit, and then you'll play the next clip.